Have you ever felt like life is moving too fast and you're completely out of control? That everything around you seems chaotic, and no matter how hard you try, nothing makes sense? What if I told you that God is working behind the scenes, even in the moments you don't understand, even in the things you can't see? That every twist, every delay, every silent moment in your life is part of a divine plan crafted just for you. Angels are always around us, watching over us, guiding us, and sometimes they send us subtle signs, whispers of reassurance that remind us, even when the world seems uncertain, you are not alone. Today, you're about to discover the invisible ways God is working in your life right now, ways you may have been blind to. By the end of this video, you'll feel a sense of peace, hope, and clarity, knowing that every step you take, even the ones that seem like mistakes, are part of something far greater. So, stay with me, because the angels have a message just for you, a message you were meant to hear today. One of the hardest truths about faith is that sometimes we cannot see what God is doing. We pray, we hope, we try, and yet life doesn't always give us immediate answers. And that's okay, because God's work is often behind the scenes. Think of it like the wind. You can't see it, but you can feel it, and you can see the effects it has on the world around you. Even when you're waiting for a breakthrough, God is arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities that will eventually lead you exactly where you are supposed to be. What feels like delay isn't denial, it's divine timing. Imagine planting a seed. You water it, nurture it, and yet, for days or even weeks, you see no growth. You might feel like giving up, but just because you don't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Underground, the roots are growing deep, preparing the seed to blossom at the perfect moment. That's exactly how God works in your life. Angels are the unseen messengers of God. They deliver divine guidance, protection, and reassurance when you need it most. Sometimes, these signs are subtle, a song you hear at the right moment, a random encounter, or a feeling of peace when you thought all hope was lost. Your angels are constantly whispering, "Do not be afraid. You are on the right path. Trust me." And the more you learn to recognize these signs, the more you'll realize that God's hand is always at work, even when the world seems quiet. I once heard from someone who felt stuck in their career. They prayed and prayed but saw no results. Then, unexpectedly, they met a person at a cafe who shared an opportunity that changed everything. That was not coincidence, that was God working behind the scenes, using angels as instruments of His plan. Now that you understand that God is always working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it, the next question becomes, why does it take so long? Why does it feel like you're waiting and waiting and waiting? The angels want you to know this truth today. God's timing is never late, it is never rushed, and it is never accidental. Divine timing is not punishment, it's protection. When something doesn't happen when you want it to, it's easy to feel ignored. You may even wonder, did God forget about me? But angels say, no, delay is not punishment, it is protection. There are things you have prayed for that would have harmed you if they came too soon. There are doors God has not opened yet because you were not ready, and the situation on the other side wasn't ready for you either. Behind the scenes, God is aligning the right moment, the right people, and the right version of you. God works on you before He works for you. One of the most powerful truths angels want you to hear is this: God often works within you before He works around you. While you are asking God to change your situation, God is shaping your heart, strengthening your faith, and preparing your spirit. Every challenge you face is refining you for what's coming next. Think back to a time when you wanted something badly, maybe a relationship, a job, or a breakthrough. And when it didn't happen, you were heartbroken. But later, you realized how much you grew during that waiting period. You became stronger, wiser, more discerning. That was not wasted time, that was preparation. The silent seasons are the most important. Angels say the quiet seasons of your life are not empty, they are sacred. These are the moments when God is working the hardest, even though it feels like nothing is happening. In silence, God is rearranging things in ways you cannot yet understand. If you're in a season where prayers seem unanswered and progress feels slow, angels want you to know this is where your foundation is being built. Sometimes God leads you away from what you wanted to protect you from what you couldn't see. That job that fell through, that relationship that ended, that opportunity that disappeared. You may see it as a loss, but angels say it was divine redirection. God sees the entire picture, not just the part you're standing in. Imagine driving through thick fog. You can only see a few feet ahead, but that doesn't mean the road ends. You move forward in faith, trusting that the path is still there. That's what God is asking you to do right now. Angels are rearranging the pieces for your good. Behind the scenes, angels are actively working, moving obstacles, removing distractions, and bringing the right influences into your life. Every random delay, every unexpected change, every moment of confusion is being used for your benefit. Even when things seem to fall apart, angels say they are actually falling into place. You are being protected from what you don't see. There are battles you never had to fight because God handled them quietly. There are situations you were kept away from because they would have drained your peace, your faith, or your future. Angels want you to know, just because you didn't see God intervene doesn't mean He didn't. A gentle reassurance from the angels. If your heart feels heavy today, if you're tired of hopping, if you're wondering whether your prayers still matter, angels say this message found you for a reason. You are not forgotten, you are not stuck, and you are not off course. God is working behind the scenes right now, aligning something that will make sense very soon. One of the strongest signs God is working behind the scenes is this: things begin to fall away. Relationships that once felt right suddenly feel heavy. Situations you tolerated before now drain you. You may feel uncomfortable staying where you are, and that discomfort is divine. Angels say God removes what no longer aligns with your future, even when it hurts in the moment. If something ended recently and left you confused or brokenhearted, know this: God didn't take it away to punish you. He removed it to protect you. Have you noticed that you feel things more deeply lately? You're more aware of energy, words, and intentions. Things that once went unnoticed now stand out clearly. Angels say this heightened awareness is preparation. God is sharpening your discernment so you don't settle for less than what's meant for you. When God wants to realign you, He slows you down. Plans don't move as quickly, progress feels stalled, and in that stillness you're given space to reflect, heal, and listen. What feels like frustration is often divine intervention, guiding you away from rushing into something that isn't ready yet. Pay attention to repetition. You hear the same words from different people. You come across the same messages in videos, conversations, or thoughts. Angels say repetition is confirmation. When God wants you to notice something, He will repeat it until you do. If this message feels like it's speaking directly to you, that's because it is. Another sign God is working behind the scenes is a desire to withdraw from noise. You may feel less interested in social distractions and more drawn to quiet moments. Angels say God speaks most clearly in stillness. Silence is where clarity begins. One of the most powerful signs is peace that doesn't make sense. Even when nothing around you has changed, you feel calm, grounded, safe. Angels say this peace is heaven's reassurance, a quiet message saying, "Trust me, I've got this." You may notice that what you once chased no longer excites you. Material things, attention, or approval don't fulfill you the way they used to. Angels say this shift means God is elevating your purpose. You're being guided towards something deeper, more meaningful. A moment of personal confirmation. Let me ask you something, not out loud, but in your heart. Have you felt like you're changing, even if you can't explain how? That's because you are. God doesn't always announce transformation. He reveals it quietly. What angels want you to remember right now: every sign you're experiencing is intentional. Nothing in your life is random. God is arranging outcomes you cannot yet see, but you will understand them soon. Angels say, do not give up now. You are closer than you think. If you're still here, angels say your spirit is listening. You didn't come this far by accident. God is not only working behind the scenes, He is preparing something that will shift your life in ways you didn't expect. God is preparing the right version of you. Before God releases blessings, He prepares the vessel. What's coming requires strength, wisdom, and emotional maturity, and God is shaping you to carry it without losing yourself. Angels say the waiting season isn't about punishment, it's about refinement. You're learning boundaries, you're learning discernment, you're learning to trust yourself and God more deeply. God is aligning the right people. Behind the scenes, God is removing connections that were never meant to walk with you into your next chapter. At the same time, He is preparing the right people, ones who will support, respect, and walk alongside you in alignment. Angels say when divine connections arrive, they don't bring confusion, they bring peace. A blessing that will feel different than the past. What God is preparing for you won't feel like past struggles. It won't require you to beg, chase, or force anything. Angels say this blessing will come with clarity and confirmation, not anxiety. What's coming will match the growth you've been through. God is healing you in ways you didn't notice. Some healing happens quietly. You don't wake up one day fully healed. You realize one day that what once hurt no longer controls you. Angels say God is restoring parts of your heart you thought were permanently broken. The waiting is building unshakable faith. Faith isn't built when everything is easy. It's built when you choose to trust God, even when answers are delayed. Angels say your faith is becoming stronger, deeper, and more unbreakable than ever before. A new season is being prepared. Every season has an end. What you're going through right now is not permanent. Angels say a shift is coming, one that will make you grateful you didn't give up. You will soon look back and understand why things happened the way they did. What God is protecting you from. Some doors stay closed because danger was behind them. Some prayers weren't answered because something better was being prepared. Angels say God protected you in ways you may never fully realize. A message directly for you. If your heart feels tired, angels say, rest. If your spirit feels heavy, angels say, release. If your faith feels weak, angels say, hold on. God is closer than you think. One of the hardest lessons angels teach us is this: you cannot control what God is handling. The more you try to force outcomes, the more anxiety you feel. But the moment you release control, peace begins to enter your spirit. Angels say surrender is not weakness, it's alignment. Faith is choosing trust over fear. Fear whispers, what if nothing changes? Faith answers, what if everything is aligning right now? Angels say every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen the bridge between you and divine guidance. Stop measuring progress by what you can see. Not all progress is visible. Some progress happens in your mindset, your emotional resilience, and your spiritual awareness. Angels say if you're becoming calmer, wiser, and more discerning, you are progressing. Why God allows uncertainty. Uncertainty creates space for growth. If you had all the answers, you wouldn't need faith. Angels say God allows uncertainty, so you learn to trust His voice instead of relying on circumstances. The power of daily trust. You don't have to trust God for your entire future today. Angels say just trust Him for this moment. One day at a time, one step at a time. Release comparison. Comparison steals peace. Your journey is not meant to look like anyone else. Angels say what's meant for you will arrive in a way that aligns perfectly with your life, not theirs. Trust that silence is still communication. God speaks in silence. Just because you don't hear an answer doesn't mean one isn't coming. Angels say silence often means God is working deeply, not absent. A gentle exercise to strengthen trust. Right now, take a slow breath. Place one hand over your heart. Whisper in your mind, I trust you even when I don't understand. Angels say that simple act of trust shifts energy in powerful ways. When doubt appears, doubt doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Angels say when doubt arises, don't fight it, acknowledge it, and choose trust anyway. A powerful reminder. You have survived moments you thought would break you. You are still here. Angels say that alone is proof God has been guiding you all along. There is a moment quiet but powerful when your spirit stops fighting the process. Angels say this moment changes everything. Peace replaces anxiety. The first thing that changes when you fully trust God is peace. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because your heart is no longer at war with uncertainty. Angels say peace is the sign that alignment has begun. Clarity begins to emerge naturally. When you stop forcing answers, clarity finds you. Thoughts become calmer, decisions feel easier, confusion fades. Angels say clarity arrives when your heart is ready to receive it. You stop chasing and start attracting. When you trust God, you no longer chase validation, approval, or outcomes. What's meant for you is drawn to you effortlessly. Angels say alignment attracts what force never could. Emotional healing deepens. Trust opens the door to deeper healing. You forgive more easily, including yourself. You release resentment, guilt, and regret. Angels say healing accelerates when resistance dissolves. Synchronicities increase. You begin to notice divine timing everywhere. Right words at the right moment, unexpected help, gentle confirmations. Angels say these moments increase because you're finally listening. Your intuition strengthens. Trust sharpens intuition. You sense when to move and when to wait. You feel guided rather than lost. Angels say this is how God leads from within. You respond instead of react. When trust is present, emotional reactions soften. You pause before responding. You choose wisdom over impulse. Angels say maturity grows where trust lives. You begin to feel supported. Even when you're alone, you don't feel abandoned. There's a quiet knowing, I'm being held. Angels say this awareness is divine reassurance. Your energy shifts. When trust enters, your energy changes. Others notice. Opportunities align. Angels say energy aligned with faith invites blessings. A truth angels want you to remember. God doesn't need you to understand the plan. He only asks that you trust Him with the process. Angels say trust is the doorway through which miracles enter. Not everyone is given the same path. Angels say the season you're in right now was not assigned randomly, it was chosen intentionally. You were chosen because you are stronger than you think. God doesn't give deep tests to shallow spirits. Angels say the fact that you're still standing proves your resilience. Even when you felt weak, your soul remained strong. This season is shaping a leader, not a follower. God uses waiting seasons to prepare leaders. Leaders are formed in silence, patience, and endurance. Angels say you are learning lessons that will later help others. You carry a deep sense of purpose. Some souls are called to more. You question life deeply. You feel things intensely. Angels say your depth is not a burden, it's a calling. You are being trained to trust your inner guidance. This season is strengthening your connection to God's voice within you. You are learning to trust intuition over noise. Angels say this is spiritual maturity. Your heart is being protected. God delays blessings to protect tender hearts. You feel deeply, love deeply, and care deeply. Angels say God is guarding your heart until the right time. You are breaking old patterns. Generational cycles end with you. Old wounds are being healed through awareness. Angels say your growth is not only for you, it's for those who come after you. This season is teaching you self-worth. You are learning that your value is not tied to outcomes. You are worthy even while waiting. Angels say self-worth must be rooted before blessings arrive. God trusts you with this process. Not everyone is trusted with deep transformation. God knows you will emerge wiser, kinder, and stronger. Angels say you were chosen because you would not give up. A personal message for you. If you've ever asked, why me? Angels say, because your soul can handle it. Because you are meant to rise, not rush. There comes a moment when the fog lifts. Angels say this moment always arrives quietly, gently, and right on time. Sudden clarity replaces confusion. What once confused you will suddenly make sense. The delays, the endings, the redirections, they will align into a clear picture. Angels say clarity is the reward of patience. Blessings arrive without struggle. What comes next will not require force. Opportunities will open naturally. Connections will feel peaceful, not draining. Angels say what's meant for you arrives with ease. You will be grateful for the waiting. One day you will say, now I understand. You'll see how every moment of waiting protected you. Angels say gratitude replaces resentment when purpose is revealed. Your confidence will be quiet but unshakable. You won't need validation anymore. You'll trust your decisions. Angels say inner confidence is born through endurance. You become a source of light for others. Your story will inspire others. Your calm will comfort those still waiting. Angels say healed souls become guides. You will recognize God's hand in every detail. You'll notice how perfectly timed everything was. Even the smallest moments had meaning. Angels say nothing was wasted. Peace becomes your default state. Not because life is perfect, but because your spirit is grounded. You've learned trust. Angels say peace is the evidence of alignment. You step into a new season. This new season feels different. You feel ready. You feel open. Angels say readiness comes after refinement. Angels say this moment is sacred. Everything you've heard so far has been preparing your heart for this message. An angelic message just for you. Angels say you are seen. Every tear you cried in silence was noticed. Every time you kept going when you wanted to give up mattered. God has never turned away from you, not once. You were never walking alone. Even in moments when you felt abandoned, angels were near. They guided what you couldn't see. They protected what you didn't know was in danger. Angels say you were carried through storms you don't even remember. A blessing of peace. Angels speak peace over your mind, peace over your heart, peace over every decision you are afraid to make. May confusion dissolve and calm settle within you. A blessing of trust. Angels bless your faith. Even when it felt small, it was enough. Even when it wavered, it never disappeared. May your trust grow stronger with each passing day. A blessing of strength. Angels say you are stronger than you know. You have already survived what you once thought would break you. May your strength carry you into the next season with confidence. A blessing of divine alignment. May what is meant for you find you easily. May doors open at the right time. May what is not aligned quietly fade away. Angels say alignment brings peace, not pressure. Release the past gently. Angels say you don't have to carry yesterday into tomorrow. What hurt you taught you. What ended redirected you. Release it with gratitude, not regret. A final reassurance. God is still working behind the scenes. Even now, even after this message ends, angels say trust the process, the unseen is becoming seen. Before we part today, angels want you to remember one last truth. God does not rush miracles. What is unfolding in your life is happening with intention, care, and divine love. A final word of encouragement. If you're still waiting for answers, trust that silence is not absence. If you're still healing, know that progress doesn't always announce itself. If you're still hopping, angels say hope is never wasted. God is working behind the scenes even when you can't see it. Why this message found you. This message reached you today because your soul was ready to hear it. Not to rush your journey, but to reassure you. Not to promise instant change, but to remind you that you are supported. An invitation to reflect. If this message resonated, take a moment to acknowledge it. Let gratitude rise, even for the things you don't fully understand yet. If this message brought you peace, comfort, or clarity, I invite you to take a small moment to like this video. Liking helps this message reach others who may be silently waiting for reassurance too. If you feel called, leave a comment below. You can simply write, "I trust the process," or share what part of this message touched your heart. Your words may be the sign someone else needs today. And if you'd like to continue receiving angel messages, gentle reminders, and spiritual encouragement, subscribe to this channel.